Welcome to Inami TV, where devotion meets inspiration. In a world full of noise, take this moment to pause and draw near to God. Every devotional here is prayerfully designed to reveal Christ, guide your thoughts, and revive your soul through His Word. So open your heart, reflect deeply, and let today's message renew your walk.
Daniel,
Yes, Grandma.
is that truly you, child? Oh Lord, I've been sitting here for hours just listening to the stillness, praying it would be broken by your footsteps. Every creak I heard on the porch made my heart jump. I didn't know if you'd come, but I kept hoping, because hope is what grandmothers do best when they miss someone they love. Come and sit close to me. My goodness, look at you. You've grown taller, your shoulders have filled out, and I can see that life has written some heavy chapters on your face. You may not realize it, Daniel, but just walking through that door today has given my old heart more joy than anything I've felt in months.
Yeah, I came. Mom said I should stay here for the weekend, so here I am. It's not like I had 100 other places to be, but don't think I came to hear sermons or be fixed. I'm just doing what she would have wanted.
I didn't expect fireworks, Daniel. I just prayed you'd walk in here with breath in your lungs and a willingness to stay, even if only for a little while. Whatever brought you here, grief, guilt, love, or just a whisper of obligation, I believe God can still use it to start something new in you. That chair's not just for company. It has held my sorrow when no one else saw it. It has listened to prayers that I couldn't speak out loud. I placed it there years ago and told the Lord, this is where I'll meet you when my strength fails. And somehow, it became sacred. Not because of the wood, but because of what happens in the silence.
Seriously. It's just a chair. People talk to couches, pets, walls when they're lonely. That doesn't make them holy. If you're saying you've been chatting with Jesus in an old rocking chair, I'm not sure if that's faith or just a side effect of too much solitude.
Call it what you will, my dear. But in the darkest nights, when your mother was sick, when the bills couldn't be paid, when my bones ached from crying, Jesus was there in that chair. Not in thunder or lightning, but in peace that wrapped around me like a shawl and told me, I'm still with you, Ruth. Elijah, what a surprise. I never expected you today.
I was in the neighborhood, so I decided to check on you. Oh my God. Daniel. Son, I had to rub my eyes twice just to be sure I wasn't seeing your ghost. I told Ruth earlier, if that boy shows up today, it'll be a good day. And now, here you are. Flesh and blood, taller than I remember and probably heavier with thoughts you're too proud to share.
Mr. Elijah, you're still breathing, huh? Didn't think I'd see your face again. You're probably still hanging around here fixing things that don't need fixing just so you can drop some wisdom on people.
Guilty as charged. Boy. But sometimes people, like broken porches and old radios, don't know they need fixing until someone touches the right place. And you've got that same storm cloud hanging over you that I saw at your mom's funeral. But I can still see the boy who used to ask 100 questions about God before Sunday school even started.
Daniel, it's all right to be confused. It's all right to be angry. God isn't afraid of your silence or your shouting. He just wants you to know that this house, this chair, this moment, is still sacred because you are still sacred to Him.
I prayed once, Grandma. When Mom was sick, I prayed like never before. I said I'd do anything if He healed her, but she still died. And all I got was silence, dreams that turned into nightmares, and a hole in my chest that won't close.
Son, sometimes the miracle isn't in what we keep. It's in what we survive. I prayed for my wife too. Every night. And when she passed, I thought God abandoned me. But then I realized, He stayed. He stayed in my sorrow. And that was enough to keep going.
Grief doesn't mean God stopped loving you. It means your love was deep, and this world couldn't hold the joy you shared any longer. But God still walks with you, even when you can't feel Him. That's why this chair is still here. It reminds me that His presence is a promise, not a feeling.
Then maybe I just want that promise, even if I don't understand it yet.
Then sit, not in the chair, but in the truth, that you are not forgotten. And when you're ready, the chair, and the one I meet there, will be waiting.
Come unto me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28.
Daniel, you up, sweetheart? I didn't want to wake you early. I brewed that ginger tea you love, the one that used to calm your mother when she couldn't sleep, and warm your heart after long school days. You don't need to talk. Just come, sit, let the morning speak, let the silence sing. Sometimes, in the stillness of a quiet house, the loudest healing begins.
That smell, it's like I time traveled. The tea, the radio music, the wood creaking under my feet, it's like I never left. But I'm not the same kid who used to run through this kitchen. I feel like I've aged a lifetime in just a year, and lost more than I can explain.
That's the strange thing about grief, Daniel. It steals time. It stretches sorrow. It makes young hearts feel ancient and wise ones feel helpless. But the table still waits. The tea still warms. And most importantly, God still listens, even when all we bring to the table is our tears.
You moved the sacred chair. Are you trying to make me sit in it now? Or just hoping I'll feel guilty enough to start acting religious?
Oh no, sweetheart, that chair isn't a trap. It's an invitation, never a weapon. I moved it here because healing doesn't happen in corners. It happens where hearts meet, over meals, over prayers, over silence. And sometimes, we need sacred things in everyday spaces, just to remind us we're never alone, even when we feel invisible.
Do you ever ask God why? Like, really ask Him why He lets people like Mom die while others live? Because I've asked, and all I got was silence. Nothing. Just silence.
I've asked why more times than I can count. When I buried your grandfather, I asked. When your mother cried out in pain, I asked. And when the bills piled up and hope ran thin, I didn't whisper, I shouted, why? And in that silence, I learned something. Sometimes God answers not with explanations, but with presence. He doesn't always explain the storm, He just sits in it with us. Daniel, I know you may not want to hear my voice right now, but silence can be crueler than shouting when it stretches too long. You've been here for 2 days, and said barely 2 full sentences to me. I don't need you to pour your soul out. I just need to know that you're still inside there somewhere, that the boy I raised on memory and prayer hasn't gone completely silent. You know, when your mama was your age, this house was loud. Not from shouting, but from living. Laughter bouncing off the walls, feet running across the floorboards, songs at dawn when the chickens cried out too early. But now this house has learned a new language, one I don't understand very well. It's called absence, and I fear you've been speaking it fluently.
Maybe silence is safer. No expectations, no fake smiles. Just quiet. It's the only thing that doesn't demand anything from me. Because when I tried talking to God, He didn't answer either.
Silence might feel safe, baby, but it's not the same as peace. One wraps around you like a blanket. The other buries you like a coffin. I've sat in silence, too, plenty of nights, just like this one. After your grandfather passed, after your mama's diagnosis, and I learned something, God may not always shout. But He never leaves. Sometimes, His silence is the loudest invitation to come closer.
You mean He invites us, then lets us suffer while He stays invisible? That sounds like abandonment with a holy name. I watched my mother beg, and still die. And I begged too. And all I got was this silence.
This chair used to scare me, you know. It reminded me too much of what wasn't here anymore. But then I started sitting in it, not to wait for miracles, but just to breathe in God's closeness. I cried here, I whispered here, sometimes I just sat with nothing but my pain in a heartbeat. And I realized, He wasn't absent. He was sitting with me in the silence.
I haven't prayed since she passed. I didn't see the point. I didn't want verses. I wanted a miracle. And when none came, I felt like God had closed the door on me.
Miracles don't always come in thunder. Sometimes, They come in survival. In still being here when you thought you wouldn't make it. In waking up one more day. In breathing when you thought your heart would stop from the weight of sorrow. That, Daniel, is a kind of miracle too. Don't let pain blind you from the grace that has kept you, even when you stopped asking for it.
I don't know how to come back to God. I don't even know if I want to. But I'm tired of feeling like a shadow of myself. Like I'm walking through life, hollow.
Then let today be your first whisper. Not a sermon, not a song, just a whisper. Say, God, I'm tired. That's enough. That's a prayer. That's a beginning. This chair won't fix you. But it will hold you. It's just a seat, until your soul sits in it too. Go ahead. Let the silence hold both your grief and your hope. God is not scared of either.
Be still, and know that I am God. Psalm 46 stanza 10.
It's past midnight again, and still, no sleep. Why does it always feel worse when it's dark? Why does silence press down on my chest like this? I keep thinking the night will bring peace, but all it brings is memories, regrets, and that same unshakable emptiness. It's like grief multiplies at night. Like my thoughts refuse to sleep even when my body is screaming to shut down. I don't want to cry again, but here it comes anyway. There it is, that chair again. Still there. Still, waiting. Why does it look so ordinary, but feel so heavy? Like it's holding something invisible, like it's alive with memories I'm not ready to face. Part of me wants to walk away again. But another part, I don't know, maybe I want to know if something's really different now. If maybe, just maybe, you're actually near. God, I don't even know how to start. I haven't talked to you since the night she passed, since the moment everything in me broke into pieces. I was angry. No, I was furious. I shouted at you in my heart, accused you, blamed you. And then, I went silent. Because after all that crying, screaming, and begging, nothing changed. She still left. I still stayed. And you never said a word. So I stopped speaking too. I stopped believing. But now, this ache is unbearable. I can't carry it anymore. I don't need lightning or angels. I don't need burning bushes or a booming voice. I just want to know that you haven't given up on me. That even after all the things I've said and thought and done, you're still somewhere near. Still listening. Still willing to hear even the smallest, ugliest whisper from me. Because I'm not strong anymore. Not pretending. Not surviving. Not numb. Just tired. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow you.
When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall the flames scorch you. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 2.
You remembered me. I've been running, doubting, resenting, and you still chose to speak, not with thunder, but with tenderness. With a verse I didn't go looking for. With peace I didn't think I deserved. If this is you, Lord, then maybe I'm not completely lost. Maybe grace really does reach this far.
Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. James chapter 4 verse 8.
Daniel, there's something I've kept tucked away for you. Not because I wanted to hide it, but because the soul has its own clock, and the heart knows when it's ready to receive certain treasures. This right here, it's not just paper and ink. It's your mama's life, her prayers, her tears, her battles, and her victories, bound in leather and grace. This Bible held her close when everything else let go. And she wanted it to hold you, too.
I remember this Bible. It was always near her, like it was part of her body. Even on the worst days, when she couldn't eat or sit up, she would whisper to me, place the word on my chest. Let it speak while I sleep. Back then, I thought she was just being dramatic. But now I realize it was her oxygen, the only breath that never failed her.
That book was her closest friend when the world grew quiet, her anchor when her strength faded, and her sword when fear crept in at night. And do you know something beautiful? She didn't just read it for herself. She read it for you. She marked verses with your name beside them. She circled promises and whispered them like spells over your future. And when her voice could no longer sing, she used the ink to carry her faith into your tomorrow. What you hold isn't just her Bible. It's her legacy in full bloom.
She wrote me a letter. Before she passed, she knew I'd find it someday. My sweet son, Daniel, if you're reading this, it means the Lord has carried me home, and you've been brave enough to open your heart again. I want you to know, you were never a burden to me. Not even on my hardest days. You were my joy, my song, my reason to fight longer than expected. But I knew from the start that my greatest gift to you wouldn't be years, it would be faith. The kind that doesn't break even when the heart does. Daniel, please don't let my death harden you. Let it humble you. Let it teach you that God never stops working, even in the dark. There were days I screamed in silence, nights I wrestled with fear, but I always ended my day saying, even this, Lord, even this I give to you. I prayed you'd grow to know the God who carried me, not just the God who heals, but the one who holds us when healing doesn't come. If you ever feel lost, Daniel, come back to this book. My fingerprints are all over it, but more importantly, God's fingerprints are deeper still. I'll be waiting to see you again one day, but until then, live as someone who was loved with heaven in mind. Love forever, Mom.
She saw what you couldn't see. She prayed what you didn't know you'd need. And she believed even when your belief ran dry. That's what faith does, Daniel. It plants trees it won't live long enough to climb, so that one day, you'll find shade and remember, you were loved ahead of time.
Grandma, she never gave up on me. Not even when I gave up on myself. I can't let this love die. I want to carry it, live it, and give it back to others. I want to know the God she trusted with her whole soul. Even if it takes me my whole life, I want him to.
Then today is the beginning of that journey. And you're not alone on the path. You've got her words, his word, and your feet are already pointed in the right direction.
The memory of the righteous is a blessing. Proverbs chapter 10 verse 7.
I can't take this anymore. I've carried it for too long. This weight, this confusion, this ache in my soul that won't go away. It eats at me, every night, every morning, every quiet moment when nobody's watching. I keep pretending I'm fine, that I'm strong, that I've moved on, but the truth is, I'm stuck. I'm stuck between missing her, resenting you, and not knowing who I'm supposed to be now. I read her letter. I held her Bible. But nothing can fill this hole, this silence, this ache that screams when the lights go out. Why her, God? Why my mother, the kindest, most faithful, most loving person I ever knew? She prayed. She believed. She quoted scriptures when she couldn't speak and sang hymns when she was in pain. She never stopped loving you, even when her body was failing. So why didn't you show up? Why didn't you stop the pain? Why did you let her suffer, let me watch her fade, let our family crumble in silence while heaven stayed quiet? I was there every day, watching her bones weaken, her smile falter, her voice fade into silence. And I begged you. I begged. I didn't ask for gold or fame or comfort, I asked for just one miracle. Just one breath of healing. Just one more year, one more hug, one more, I'm proud of you. But you didn't come, and that silence turned my faith into dust. I feel like a ghost of who I was. I laugh, but it's hollow. I work, but it's mechanical. I talk to people, but I don't feel seen. Because the truth is, I've been dying on the inside since the day she did. And God, I don't know how to live again. If you're there, if you haven't turned away completely, then I'm here. I'm not strong. I'm not worthy. I'm not clean. But I'm here. And I don't want revenge. I don't want explanations. I don't even want answers. I just want peace. Real peace. The kind she died holding onto. I miss her, God. Not just the memories, I miss her presence. The way she made the house feel like home. The way her prayers wrapped around me even when I pretended not to care. The way her faith never cracked, even when her body did. I want to feel what she felt, that closeness with you. That certainty that even in pain, you were still God. That boldness that says, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. I give you my anger. I give you my bitterness. I give you the guilt I've been dragging like chains. I give you the silence I used to punish you. I give you my soul, torn as it is, broken as it feels. I don't want to run anymore. I don't want to pretend anymore. I want to start again. Not as a perfect person, but as someone who's finally ready to be healed. Pain bends the soul, child, but grace restores what grief tried to erase. God has never turned away from brokenness. He always leans closer when we finally collapse. And what begins in weeping, He finishes in glory. Thank you for waiting for me. Even when I walked away. Even when I couldn't forgive you. Even when I said I didn't believe. Thank you for not leaving me in the dark I created.
He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147 stanza 3.
You don't need to have it all figured out, Daniel. You don't need to walk in there with perfect words or a polished heart. You just need to walk in. That's the step your mama prayed for. Not perfection, but your return. And I believe with all my heart, she's smiling right now.
It's strange. I feel nervous, like I'm doing something new, even though I've done it before. But it's different now. I'm not going to church because I feel obligated, I'm going because I finally want God. I want to know the peace that held her. I want to find the joy she found in worship. I want to cry without shame and lift my hands without fear.
You're not starting over, child. You're picking up where grace never let go. Faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just showing up when your heart still hurts. Sometimes it's just holding the Bible and whispering, Lord, I'm back.
I thought walking through these doors would be painful. That I'd feel judged, exposed, maybe even out of place. But instead, I feel like I've come home. Not because everything's okay, but because I'm not pretending anymore. This is where healing starts. Right here, right now. God, I'm not who I used to be. And I know you know that. But thank you for loving me anyway. Thank you for waiting at the gate like the father in the story. I'm not here for show. I'm here to rebuild what I broke. And I'm ready now.
A seed doesn't look like much in the soil. But one day, it breaks the ground. It reaches toward the light. It grows again. And when that happens, you know healing has begun.
Return to me, and I will return to you, says the Lord. Malachi chapter 3 verse 7.
Didn't expect you to say yes when I called. Honestly. You've been like a ghost lately, vanishing after messages, skipping calls, just silent. But I get it. Life hits hard, especially when grief and faith collide. Still, I'm really glad you came. Because some conversations can't happen over text. Some stories need a bench, a breeze, and a brother who won't walk away when things get messy.
Yeah, I've been silent because I didn't have words. Everything felt like noise, people's advice, even my own thoughts. It's like I was stuck inside a locked room, shouting, and no one could hear me. But something changed, not all at once, not like a lightning bolt. More like a crack in the wall. Like God whispered through the cracks, and for the first time, I didn't shut him out. I'm not claiming I'm okay yet, but I'm finally aware that healing is possible. And that's something I didn't believe for a long time.
That's real, man. Most people fake peace by suppressing the pain. But you're letting it surface, and that's where the real rebuilding starts. You don't need a halo to begin again. You just need honesty. And it sounds like you're finally finding your voice. Not the religious one. But your real voice, the one that hurts, hopes, and still chooses to show up.
It started with Mom's Bible. That book used to sit in the same chair every day, the empty chair, now. I avoided it for months because every time I saw it, it reminded me of prayers that felt unanswered. It reminded me of cancer, of hospitals, of singing hymns through clenched teeth. But then, I opened it. And it wasn't just a book. It was her legacy, her battle cry, her daily bread, and I felt like God was sitting in that chair, waiting for me to stop running, to just return. To trust again, and not trust that life will be painless, but trust that He's still there in the pain.
You just said the whole sermon. And I don't say that lightly. Because what you described, that moment of opening her Bible, that sacred collision of memory and presence, that's revival. You don't need fire falling from heaven. Sometimes healing comes when your hand trembles just holding a verse. And I believe God's been waiting for that moment from the day you shut the door on Him. He wasn't angry. He was just patient.
I used to think rebuilding meant starting over from scratch. Like burning everything down and reinventing my faith. But now I know, it's more like cleaning a stained glass window. The shape is still there. The beauty never left, but it needed light again. And I want that light. I want her faith to be more than a memory. I want to pray with tears again. Read not just to finish chapters, but to hear God. I want to be real, in public, in private, and especially when no one's watching.
That's powerful, bro. And you know what's wild? God isn't just fixing you, He's forming you. You're not being recycled. You're being reshaped. Every tear, every silence, every step back to the altar, it's making you a man of depth. Not just someone who shows up on Sunday, but someone whose life preaches without saying a word. And it starts with small things, like showing up today. Like speaking the truth without fear of looking weak.
That's the goal now. Not perfection, not performance, just presence, with God, with people, with myself. And I want to be present enough to build something real. A quiet altar in my living room. A heart that prays in traffic. A mind that chooses forgiveness, even when memories scream. She built her life like that. And if that's the inheritance she left me, then I want to multiply it, not mourn it forever.
Then here's to rebuilding, not like we used to, but better. Here's to sacred benches, empty chairs, open Bibles, and broken hearts learning to sing again.
And to grace that never left. Even when I did.
I will restore to you the years the locust has eaten. Joel chapter 2 verse 25.
So, what now? You've opened the Bible. You've cracked open your heart. You even came outside, which, let's be honest, is a miracle in itself. But what comes next? Is this a one-time healing walk, or are you really walking back to the altar?
What now? Honestly, I ask myself that every morning. I wake up and it still feels weird, like the grief left fingerprints on everything I touch. But for the first time, I'm not trying to scrub them off. I'm learning to see those marks as proof that I loved, that she mattered, that her faith meant something. So yes, I'm walking back to the altar. But I'm not just walking back. I'm walking forward, too. Into a version of myself I've never known, one that's not ashamed to believe again.
That's deep, bro. And true. Because healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering with peace. Letting the memories breathe, not suffocate. And letting God be part of the narrative again.
Exactly. There was a time when I blocked God out of every memory of her. It hurt too much to think about her praying while dying. To think about the songs she sang with cracked lips. But now I see it. Her worship in suffering wasn't weakness. It was war. She wasn't losing. She was standing, even while kneeling. And I want that kind of faith. Not the loud, showy type, the kind that whispers truth when pain shouts lies.
You know, we've known each other a long time. I've seen you in every season. Hyper, reckless, silent, strong. But this version of you right here. This is the most authentic I've ever seen. And maybe that's the altar God was waiting for. Not a perfect Daniel. Just a present one.
You're right. And it's humbling. Because I thought I had to lead worship, preach, impress people again before God would use me. But now I know, God uses the raw, the weeping, the unsure, the ones who say, Lord, I'm here. That's all I've got. And somehow, that's enough.
More than enough. And honestly, people are hungry for real. They're tired of picture-perfect faith. What you've been through, if you ever share it publicly, it could heal others. People respect pain that turns into purpose.
You think I should share it?
I think you were meant to. Not to get likes or pity. But to open a door for someone else who's where you were. Someone staring at their own empty chair, thinking faith has failed. Your journey could be their breakthrough. And if you keep that bottled up, you're burying seed that was meant to bloom.
Wow, that's scary, but true. And you know what? I think I'm ready. Maybe not for the stage, but for the circle, for a small Bible study, for a hurting friend, for a journal entry shared in faith. I just want to give back what healing gave me. It wasn't just for me, it was for whoever's coming next.
Then let's start there. We'll meet again next week. Maybe invite someone else. Maybe bring a Bible each. Maybe. Just maybe. Build an altar with words, presence, and prayer. Not in a church.
A park bench revival. My mom would love that. She'd probably say, don't wait for a microphone when your life is the sermon. And you know what? She was right.
And they shall rebuild the old ruins. They shall raise up the former desolations. Isaiah chapter 61 verse 4.
Dear Mom, I've written your name 1,000 times in my mind, but writing it now, on this page, feels like ripping open something I buried. It's been months, but some days it still feels like you're just out shopping, or away for a retreat. I still catch myself listening for your footsteps in the hallway. I still hear your voice humming a hymn I never paid attention to. And every time it hits me that you're not coming back, it's like losing you all over again. I wish I could tell you how sorry I am. Not just sorry for the things I said when I was angry, but sorry for the things I never said when I had the chance. I was always in a hurry, always moving, always trying to be strong. But I never realized how weak I really was, until the strongest person I knew was no longer beside me. You taught me how to fight battles on my knees, and now, I cry because I didn't kneel beside you more often when I could have. I wasted time, and now I'd give the rest of my life just to borrow 5 more minutes with you. I avoided your chair for weeks. It felt haunted, not by ghosts, but by silence. Every morning I walked past it pretending I didn't see it. But the truth is, I saw you every time I looked at it. Your folded hands, your open Bible, your whispers to God when the house was still asleep. That chair became my reminder, not of your death, but of your life, your faith, your fire, your unshaken love for God, even when your body was breaking. That chair became an altar. And one morning, I sat in it, and I wept like I'd never wept before. Because for the first time, I stopped mourning your absence, and started feeling your presence. Mom, I blamed God. I shouted at him. I told him he was cruel. I told him he forgot us. I told him he owed me answers. But he never shouted back. He didn't abandon me. He waited. He sat in the silence. And one day, through your Bible, he spoke. Not with thunder, not with fire, but with peace, with quiet mercy. And I realized, God didn't take you from me. He gave me everything through you before you left. I remember your hands, always moving, folding clothes, cooking, touching our heads while praying. But now I realize, your greatest work was invisible. You sowed in tears so we could harvest in hope. And I see the fruit of that in me now. Even in my brokenness, I'm blooming. And it's because your roots ran deep. You always said, faith doesn't make life easier. It makes us stronger. Now I get it. I didn't want strong. I wanted easy. But your strength, your unwavering trust, it lives in me now. And I will carry it forward. Even if my hands shake. Even if I cry while doing it. This is the letter I never sent. The words I never said. The love I always felt. I hope heaven lets you read it. And if it does, tell the angels to keep that chair warm. Someday, I'll sit beside you again, and this time, I won't be silent.
Her children rise up and call her blessed. Proverbs chapter 31 verse 28.
Lord Jesus, I come to you this hour, to meet you at your throne of grace. Father, I'm here again. Not because I feel whole, but because I feel you calling. Not because I'm strong, but because I've run out of strength. Not because I know what to say, but because silence is now too heavy to carry. I pushed you away. I ignored the whispers. I buried my spirit under grief. And yet, you waited. You didn't walk away. You didn't close the door. You didn't treat my distance as a reason to give up on me. You stayed. You waited in the quiet. You held me when I wasn't holding anything at all. And now, here I am. With trembling hands. With a cracked heart. With more tears than words, but I'm here. Today, I say it aloud. I belong to you. I am not too lost to be found. I am not too broken to be healed. The enemy told me I was finished. My pain convinced me I was too damaged. But your word says in Isaiah chapter 43 verse 1. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you, I have called you by name, you are mine. I am not abandoned, I am not worthless, I am yours. Lord, I miss her. I miss her more than I ever knew I could miss someone. I miss her voice, her touch, her laugh that filled this house with life. But most of all, I miss her faith. That unshakable, quiet, radiant strength that she carried like a garment. I watched her believe through pain. I watched her pray through storms. I watched her forgive when others would have walked away. She left behind more than memories. She left a blueprint. She left a fire. And I know now, I'm called to carry it forward. She didn't die, she was planted. And I am her fruit. So today I speak life again. Life into my mind. Life into my spirit. Life into this broken routine. I will rise again. I will love again. I will pray again. Louder, deeper, longer. Because you are still my Father. Because you never stopped being good, even when life wasn't. Because you never left, even when I left myself. I proclaim healing over my house. I proclaim joy over my soul. I proclaim peace in every corner where sorrow tried to live. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147 stanza 3. And I declare this room a place of worship. This Bible a sword again. This altar a flame that won't die. The same God who gave her strength, now gives me mine. From this moment, I move forward. Not because the pain is over, but because purpose is greater than pain. Not because I've forgotten her, but because I remember her in everything good I do from now on. Her prayers are seeds, and I am the garden. Her altar is gone, but I am the living sacrifice. I choose light. I choose life. I choose you. Thank you, Lord, for waiting. For staying. For loving me back to life. Thank you for answered prayer in Jesus Christ's name, amen.
You turned my mourning into dancing. You clothed me with gladness. Psalm 30 stanza 11.